Hymns of the Anthropocene is an album I've been working on for about 3 years. It started when I decided I wanted to stop dividing my music making into two separate paths. For a long time, I've been making instrumental ambient music that's built around all these droney tape loops and atmospheric sounds. And then I've been making this kind of Americana influenced vocal music on the other side. And I thought I would love to combine these two things and see what happens. The first song I finished was Someone Else's Choice, and I think tonally it really set the pace for what the whole record would be like. When I finished Endless Summer, that really set the pace, because that's a song about climate change and about us trying to explain to our grandkids how they're what fireflies were, for example, or what a cool autumn night used to be. I realized this was going to be a record about human impact on the earth, both societally and environmentally. I started making tape loops that are just these little 5-second triangular loops in the cassette tapes. I cut the tape and tape it back together. And then I'd record sounds on top of that and on a 4-track, and then I could fade in each sound to make these big soundscapes. And I really liked the way they sounded. So I put out a couple records of all instrumental stuff with that. But I realized that those tape loops have a rhythm to them. They have a beat. And if you can find the tempo of the loop, then you can get a rhythm to play other instruments over. So I would add drums and bass and keyboards to that. And so it kind of combined all of these different technologies that I've worked in for so long. And it was a really fun project. And I guess I had finished a couple pieces that I was like, I think these could have lyrics over them. And so I started singing over top of them. And before I knew it, a record was shaping up. I meant to start the fundraiser for this in October, but Hurricane Helene, of course, had other plans for us, and I couldn't get it off the ground, and it wouldn't have been right to try to fundraise for something like this in the middle of all that storm recovery. My hometown was trashed, and, I narrowly escaped the storm myself. We climbed over a balcony at 4:30 in the morning and waded out in the middle of the waters. The irony is not lost on me that I was working on a record about climate change and the end of civilization when a massive hurricane destroyed my hometown. I say this is a post-apocalyptic record, but it's not just doom and gloom. There is a narrative arc in this album. It goes from societal collapse to environmental collapse, and then there's this shift that sounds like spring. It sounds like the coming and growing of things. And I think that despite the darkness of the subject matter, that there is hope. And I think that in writing an album that is supposed to sound like people in the future remembering what it's like today, that should be a rallying cry to preserve the things we love and to hang on to them and to fight for the preservation of this planet and of the things that we really want to hold on to and that we really respect and love. If anything, I hope that that's what this record is a rallying cry to take care of the earth and of our communities and of our families and of the people that we love that are around us. Because these things are not guaranteed and they can be taken away at any time. And man, do I know that now after this storm.